Yep, good evening once again, brothers and sisters all over. Anyị ka nọkwa na-arịpọtụ ihe na-eme n'ala Igbo, ihe ọjọọ jọgburu onwe ya, ihe na-eshi nshi, omume ndị dị njọ our people na partake in. We are still talking about what happened in Anambra, Ozogbo, the massacre. We are still getting more and more updates, which we are going to read for you as we continue. Now, the development is that the police have arrested some people, and there are so many eyewitness accounts of different sorts out there. We pray and we don't want such things to be happening. But as time goes on, we are still having another information of such things in the making as we speak, which also I will have to play for you. Meanwhile, before we continue, let's go on the latest information about the Ozogbo incident and hear what is actually where we stand at the moment before we continue to other development about a thing like this now that is on the making, another time bomb about our people and business and defraudment of a fraud man defrauding his fraud brother. That is what we are encountering. So,
the Anambra State Police Command has said that it has arrested suspects involved in the early Sunday morning killing of worshippers at St. Philip's Catholic Church in Ojabulu. Spokesman of the command, Gairakan Wad, confirmed this to the cable on Monday. While refusing to reveal the identities of the suspects, the spokesman said that the suspects were arrested on Monday. This is a very sensitive investigation, so you people, journalists, have to help us, she was quoted as saying. As soon as the investigation is concluded, we will let the public know. But as far as I'm concerned, it definitely has nothing to do with terrorists. It's just a conflict between individuals. No fewer than 35 worshippers were killed, scores injured. It was learned that trouble started for worshippers who were in church for the 6 a.m. Mass, when at about 6:45 a.m., the gunman rode into the church in a Lexus SUV, as one of them entered the church and shot at close range an elderly man, later identified as Pa'ai Kwanu, while others remained in the vehicle outside. An eyewitness told Vanguard that after killing the old man, the gunman opened fire on other worshippers, as those who tried to flee were cut down by the gunman outside the church. Pa'ai Kwanu is the father of Chief Aloysius Kwanu, a businessman from Imakwe, who built and donated the church to Nui Diocese, while his wife was shot on her right arm and still on admission at the teaching hospital. It was gathered that the gunmen were looking for his son, Aloysius, who was said to have returned to the village on Saturday and left later in the day. According to a source, the gunman had thought he was in the church and had wanted to deal decisively with him over a yet-to-be-ascertained business deal. How it happened, witness a survivor, Mr. Stephen Ohamadike, told Vanguard at the church premises that the gunman entered the church around 6:45 am as they were about to begin prayer of the faithful. He said, "Those of us who were to say the prayers of the faithful had just assembled at the altar and I had number 2, which meant that I was to say the prayer for Nigeria. Suddenly, I saw someone who was putting on a cap shooting indiscriminately inside the church. There was pandemonium and in the midst of the confusion, I just lay down on the floor. The officiating priest and the mass servers quickly left the altar and the mass came to an abrupt end. I counted 11 dead people and many were wounded. I used the vehicle belonging to Pa'ai Kwanu to take him and his wife and others to Evans Hospital, where the doctors advised us to go to the teaching hospital. I used the car to convey many other people to the hospital before I came back to Imakwe." The parish priest, Rev. Father Jude Onwazo, declined comment on the incident, saying the bishop had directed that only the diocesan director of communications should speak on the matter. Several other parishioners, who sustained bullet wounds, were being treated at the hospital, with over 50 medical doctors from Namdi Azikiwe University Teaching Hospital, North, and other private hospitals around Niue battling to save their lives at the emergency unit of the hospital. Governor Willie Obiano, who visited both the church and the teaching hospital, described the incident as very worrisome, adding that preliminary investigations by the police showed that it was a case between two people from the community who were resident abroad. He said, "It is tragic that these two people had to bring their quarrel abroad to the village and to the church wherein to be killed and injured. We are not going to relax until those who perpetrated this heinous crime are apprehended. That I can assure you." It was so bad that the gunman went round the church to ascertain that the car belonging to the person they were after was there before they entered the church and started shooting, not knowing that it was his parents that came in the car. I don't want churches in this state to become apprehensive because of this incident because it is an isolated case. The governor commended the doctors for their quick response to save lives, adding that but for their intervention, more lives would have been lost. He promised that the state government would offset the bills of those being treated and assist in bearing the cost of the funeral of those who lost their lives.
Okay, now what we understand here is that some arrests have been made in the Ozobulu case. We are hoping and waiting to hear the names, disclosure of the people who were involved. We have to get that. But according to information also, you can hear where they said that the bishop asked the priest not to make any mention or to talk about the case. It's as if the same guy who is in question, whether he's the main priest now or the nicknamed man who is the priest, is still commanding the church, even with all the incident happening. So, and we are praying that such thing doesn't happen. But I'm going to play you now a different incident that is right now as we are speaking on the making, people looking for people to kill because of business dealings like this. One is already down, died in Festac last night. This is another separate incident. And the guys are still bragging and boasting that they are looking for all the whole people who are involved in that very transaction and to put them down. This is a new incident in the making. While we are still praying for the one that just passed, I'm going to play you now that very tape so that
my brother, you see, I want you to send this thing to the people that is involved in that our money. They have sent them the whole documents and all of them are original. Today they will talk this, tomorrow they will talk this, this tomorrow they will talk this. Nobody will eat this money and go free. Believe you me, no human being on this earth born by a woman I'm just keeping quiet because you are not even gingering. If you are gingering and tell me go ahead, I'm supposed to by now started hunting people. This man was shot dead last night, 23 Road, First Stack. He has been dying people money, using it to buy hotel, buy all these things, buy all these things, buy all these things. They're still going to kill his wife, kill his children, kill all of them. Nobody will enjoy that money. So if you do business with somebody, you better go and give the person his money. Because this thing, all of us are working for one thing. What are we working for? To make our ends meet. We give you people before we started bringing the slip and everything, the documents about this transaction. You say 72 hours. My brother is getting to 2 months. Nothing is happening. After 72 hours, you will start from Genesis to Revelation. We know that all these plank you people are playing that you are trying to corner that money. But he who is playing with fire will get him burnt. I'm not threatening anybody. I'm not fighting anybody. But nobody that is involved that go against our agreement before we surrender all the documents about this transaction, we go scot-free. This thing happened last night. They call him out and they keep finishing him. Yes, can he eat the money now? He's already dead. And no man is an island. Nobody is above this kind of condition. As far as you eat somebody's money, you must surely daily pay for it. I'm saying this thing because I don't want this money that we do the deal quietly and let everybody share it quietly and go. The money that is not my father's money is not your father's money. We do it and we agreed on one terms and condition. At the end of the day, you started going contrary to what you agreed on. That is what result this kind of condition and situation. It might be me, it might be anybody, but my brother, we cannot stay alive and say the stories. If you people don't quietly give us this money, I'm running out of patience. I've told my friend that I'm running out of patience. I'm running out of patience. I will not tell you what happened to the dead. It's only the dead will judge himself when he's already dead. The living will be saying, hey, sorry, we don't know that it's happening like this. But the dead knows what kills him. And that is what happens to this man. He thinks he's a smart man. He thinks he can take people's money. He thinks he can buy people's money. He thinks he can take their money to build hotel. He thinks good life is only for him and his family. You don't know that other people feel pains. We do this thing. You ask us for documents. We provide the documents. You confirmed it. You confirm everything. Now to give us our money, you people are talking stories. You want us to go at war against ourselves. I'm keeping quiet. I'm keeping quiet. Why I'm keeping quiet? Because I will follow everybody to his own doorstep. I'm telling you gospel truth. I follow everybody to his doorstep. No human being born by a woman can eat this money and go free. No human being. I say it again. No human being born by a woman. If you like, get the whole juju waiting for this world. That your juju will fail you that day. I will come against you. You will fail. Because I will hold everything to make sure that I nail you. I'm not boasting. I give you people this week to give us, to tell us to bring account, and you people started paying us our money. This week, without that, you people will see what will happen next. Thank you very much. I'm not threatening anybody, but I cannot take it easy with any bastard that want to eat this money. I cannot take it easy with that person. That person must go and sleep finally. God bless everybody.
Okay, this is the information here is not so clear. Have not got all information. Details are still tripling in, and we are going to get them to you as they come out completely, because we are all hours in to bring you the latest in development, because a lot of information, a lot of things are happening right now. The election is looming. The quick notice from the Yoruba, from the Hausa, also now the debtors have also given the Hausa people their own quick notice. So there's a lot of information, a lot of things. Nigeria now is, for people who understand the situation, knows that it's a ticking time bomb that is about to explode. And what we are talking about now is what happened in Ozobo. We just gave you information about the latest development. There has been some arrests, but the police are not identifying anybody at this moment. They are not putting up names there out for us to know who have been arrested. But developing stories is still coming up. But it is so annoying and so concerning that in midst of all this is happening, that is why we just played you that very recording. Now this is another bomb on the making. One person is down. As I'm talking to you, I cannot, if I'm using my other software, I can be able to show you the picture. But as I'm talking to you now, I am watching the picture of a man who was brutally shot on the head and lying face down to his car. Right there is an SUV, a kind of. So this is the kind of things that we are experiencing in midst of all our troubles, in midst of all our struggles. Some people who are abroad, who are not so much concerned, according to what they will say, are into their business, doing their business, and having problems, and problems that eventually comes to have the drastic effect back home to the same people who are the suffering masses that we have back home, the people we want to liberate, the same people. So when will all this trouble end? The one we cause for ourselves, the one the Hausa will bring for us, the one Nigeria will bring for us, the one the world in general will hang on us. Which one are we to follow? At this point, the divide is so much. Now, in this very time is in about 1 month now or 2 months, November, there's going to be an election, Anambra election. And now we are getting conflicting messages from the same one people to the same one people, because we have leaders, because we have people who tell us what we have to do. But in this case now, they are telling us to be confused. That is why I tell people there's a train. I try to make people understand what the movement of Biafra we are following today really means. If you look down into it, Biafra is a train. It's a train. And this train was manufactured sometime in the 60s and was made operational from 1967 to 1967, yes, to 1970, before it was shut down. It was shut down. It was teared into pieces. It was left packing now for a very long time. You can see that this train have been damaged by rats, animals living in it, bush and the grass growing on top of it. You can see even that the people who started the struggle, Ojukwu and the other people who fought for it, the people who will call the engine are already dead. That is to say, this very train have no engine anymore. But what happened? How did we come again to fixing this train, to believing that this train will move, that believing that this train will get back home to Biafra land where we have to go? Of course, all of us believe it. I am one person who believes that we will get there, and I know we will get there. But let's take some minutes to think about this, how it works. Now, this has been a rotten train, our beloved train that was conquered, but now left to rot for a very long time. All of a sudden, sometime around the 90s, Wazirike came from somewhere and showed us that train again and said, look at how beautiful the train looks. Everybody looked, and it was a shining bright clean train that Wazirike has painted. He asked everybody to come in, that we can get home with the train. The train is still possible to move. Now people rushed, believed in it, because we are born to be Biafrans. Because anytime you hear it, be it in dream, in daytime, you have to react to it. People rushed and followed the movement of Wazirike uplifted after. What happened? When they came, they saw that there were no chairs in that train. There was no engine in that train. It was like a painted separoka, you know. But now, in coming in, he tried to convince people that yes, together we can do it together. We can walk this train, we can make it work again. We can buy chairs, we can fix the windows, we can recable it, and we can put engine to it, and we can drive it home. People believed him. Why not you believe him if you have that motivation about and that pride of a Biafra? Now, a one man have revitalized that very train that have been left there dead for a long time. And Wazirike showing us a train now well painted. Now, unfortunately, we come there are nothing's in. But fortunately, we can together now bring it to life. Everybody believed in that. People start working. People start donating money to buy engines, seats, electric works, everything to be done to move this train again. But unfortunately, we discovered that most of this money we are going into personal pockets. That led to some of the people now abandoning the job. Some now went and took coaches from that very train and say now they better concentrate on their own coach. That's when you start seeing splits of Biafran groups from there. Everybody start running away. No, it has become a cheat. Then people not trying to leave that train because of the belief we believe in that train Biafra. People now decided to go and handle the coaches. You see, they are still working on the coaches. You have so many groups out there now. These are the representation of the so many coaches in the train. Everybody now working on their own coach. All of a sudden, sometime around 2011, 2012, Nnamdi Kanu, Emeka Esiri, Supreme Council of Elders, they say they have found an engine to that train. Wow, it was glorious again. Everybody have to assemble together again. Where is that engine you got? But unfortunately, again, before they could mount that engine, there was a kind of problem between Emeka and the Nnamdi Kanu, which we are still living through today, which brought to so many people having engines now. We have about 2-3 engines for that one train. Now, It's becoming so serious, so funny, so wonderful. A train, a movement that every Biafran is interested. Everybody is now keying in because we are seeing some wonderful development coming around that very train of Biafra. That is wonderful. It's super. Now everybody is working. Where are we today? Now what happened? They fixed Nnamdi Kanu, who is having the upper hand among everybody now, managed to put his own engine inside that train. Then other engines they have from other leaders became a reserve. Those are the ideas, the strategies the other groups have for that very movement is the engine. So these ones now have to be reserved whether they like it or not, because Nnamdi Kanu has already fixed an engine to that very train. Now, what happens? You want to move the train. Lo and behold, now we found out that the train that Owazirike painted, a train that have been there for a very long time, that have rusted, that crops, rats have made children, crops grown all over, rusted panels, they were only painted over. The panels were not welded, repaired, cleaned up, or changed the parts. It was just like what I said, a painted sepulchre. Our people rushed in, not knowing what it is. The people put engine, not knowing what it is. Now it's about to move. The train collapsed. The train because the whole panel, the whole pans, the whole electric system, no one is working. It goes down. Then what happened? Hausa people saw this. Yoruba people saw this. So this train will not move. Because when we were doing all these things, getting ready, you see how they wanted to stop us with the killing of our people, because they thought we were going to move this train. When Nnamdi Kanu was arrested, they killed a lot of our people thinking that we were almost there. They wanted to do everything to stop us because that was when the engine was mounted. But now they find out that this train cannot move. They find out now that we are working with old copper or body of an old ancient rusted train. They say now, you know what you people will do? You have to carry this train, and that Biafra when I want to go. Now you people move with your train and move. And that is where we are right now. We are in the position where they have asked us to carry our train because they find out that that train cannot move. One thing again that is very interesting in this whole picture is that there is one person among the whole of Igbos who found out that what we needed, as long as our destination is Biafra, as long as the age we are living in now, what we needed was to come with a complete new body of a trade, new furniture that will suit the time we are living in, new technique with a new engine. Then that is the only way we can move. Than to go into this short of a train, although it was our life, we loved it. That is the mistake that we are having in us today. Only one person recognized that you should build a complete new boat, a new body, completely, everything from the scratch, to be able to contest in the world of today with the trade of things happening. You don't need that very train. That the engine is out of place. The bodies are rotten. That we have to change everything into things that are already condemned. It was Tony Nadi of the Lower Niger. Tony Nadi of the Lower Niger recognized the fact that we have to build a new body. That was when he went into agreement, into search to meet the elites of all the older Southeasterners and South-South. But he made a mistake too. He built a new body, complete new body, a new setup, recognizing that same map of Biafra, which is the body of that train, is not going to be the same map that was in the 70s. He tried to ask who is going to be involved and who is not going to be involved. You can see that the people on the old train don't ask questions because they just believe that this is Biafra. It's our old train. Sometimes if they see any particle of the train lying somewhere, they say, okay, just carry that one, put them here, belong here. Whether it belong or not, they don't even ask questions because they don't, this is the old train they are working on. But if you want Torinadi who assembled a new train, but made a mistake, which I will also say, after he did that, assembled a new train by going in and ask questions, coming, having an agreement with people, a cordial agreement, come up now with the name Lower Niger. When the people saw the new brown train, they expected to see Biafra. They saw Lower Niger. People are saying a lie. Kawo Wide Alija. So this very train is not going our way, man. That is the problem Tony is facing. That is why that very movement. We are going to Biafra with a train that is written Biafra on it, destination Biafra. But believing that is that old 70s train is the mistake we are making. And now all these people who are fighting, I will tell you something. Biafra has 14 years. If we make a mistake, if we doubt the 14 years, it will be added the 7 years, we will make it 21 years. There's no sorry about it. What you are seeing now is just people who believe that they are trying to get that train. It's something that's only there's no way you can move it. There's no way you can panabit it, change the bodies and put a new engine and move that car. The best thing is just to have a new car, as long as the name is car. The name of where we are going is Biafra. It doesn't depend on that very train. So right now, what these people who think that they are channeling for Biafra, all these people you are thinking is the hero on the making. I tell you, 14 years from now, there's going to be a lot of clearance. A lot of people will go out the way. A lot of natural occurrences. A lot of personal problems that people will cause for them because of this struggle. That you have the clearance because Biafra is the Biafra in the Acho Agaga Abia Awuronke Agejina at with Somalia. No. We have come and channel a different cause in the world. By any means, develop on Biafra today. We will be struggling with Biafra to get it under control within our own circle for 5 years. We don't even need the 2 days of such things. Even 1 day, 1 hour of such rambling against ourselves, we don't need it. That is why we are seeing that if you have Biafra today, if you have Biafra in the next 1 year, if you have Biafra in the next 3 years, you are going to ramble and kill yourselves. If you like, deny the obvious. If you like, tell yourself the lies. If God is not asking you any question anymore, the whole ball game now is left on what God has programmed for us, the way He has programmed for us. Whether you like it or not, it's going to come that way. We have a 14-year program. What we are seeing, ndị a niile na-etinye Biafra, ndị a niile na-asị ndị nke ala, ndị nke ala, ndị nke anọ, ndị nke anọ, restructure, no restructure, separation, no separation, is the clean up of the place around the track. Even that very train, ha na-abịa aka ugbo onye ọbụla na-eti Biafra, Biafra, ihe a na-eme wibufishi that train n'ụzọ because ọwụ train ahụ ka anyị ji aga. Biafra ịhụrụ a na-eti ugbu a ya adịghị ka ọ na-abịa taa na echi na line. Ihe mmekọrịta ihe ga-eme ndị mmadụ anwụ ọ na-ewute ha na people na anwụ. They are not ashamed of their attitude. They are not afraid of what their repercussion. Even the people who say they know every day they talk about God, but you don't have no one single fear. If you know what it means to be a human being yourself, I'm telling you what it means. If you really understand what it means for you to be a human being, you see that you have no reason whatsoever, as written also in the gospel, that thou shalt not kill. No reason, no excuse. Don't give me that brag. Don't tell me because this and that. Because everything that you make a mistake have a reason why you make a mistake. Every failure have a reason why we fail. But that reasons are those reasons that are irrelevant. Likewise, the reason why you should kill another man, the reason why you should order for another person to kill another man, the reason why you should support the death of another man by another man is irrelevant. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. I have a lot of stories about people talking about, say, they are, after all, myself, I'm not a Christian, so to say. I don't believe in the word of Christianity and all this thing. I was born to be a Christian, but on the way I don't understand that all these are just creations. But I believe so much on God because I pray. I understood one thing from church when I was going to church. When I was a small boy, about 8 years to 10, 15, I understood one thing about God, that He is the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the ending, the man that has the energy, the power that has all in it, the spirit that is ever, ever powerful. Then, and again, that we have a mediator who is the Holy Spirit. Then I start to ask myself, then why should I go and learn such a spirit, such a power from somebody else who is just born of a woman like me? When he says the mediator is the Holy Spirit, when he says is the power that has the God that has the power to do everything, then the first thing I would like him to do for me is to teach me who he is by himself and not from a human. And believe me, you, from my childhood, and that's what carries me all myself, all my life. And that is why people say Emmanuel is a problem. But check out my name that I don't know how they come about. Okezie is a good creature. Emmanuel is the son, is God with us. Wachuku is the Son of God. None of these things I gave myself, but I believed in God. I understood it from childhood. I asked the questions that are difficult, that are even some people find difficult. They call it blasphemous. I said, you can't stop me by your teaching of blasphemous rubbish, because you don't know what blasphemous is. God said you have the opportunity to ask anything that he will answer. But some certain questions they said is blasphemous because they don't know it. They don't want you to go there. They change those positions to a devilish position. That is why they say it's blasphemous. That is nothing like the language blasphemous because of what you ask God. But they tell us that all the time. And they tell it to people who goes to church. For a long time, I forgot about that thing they call church, because I understand the church of God, the Bible of God, is in the heart of those who believe God. That is most of times when I meet the preacher men. When I start to talk with the preacher men, they start to wonder. They start to wonder why I say I don't read the Bible when most of the things I'm saying is part of the things in the Bible. You know my reply to them? If you hear anything I speak that is part of the things that are written in the Bible, know that that is the truth in the Bible. I didn't read it from the Bible. The Bible of God is in my heart. The real Bible of God. What you have, all people are walking around, is adulterated nonsense they call the Bible. The ones that sin as print from here to there, and they call it holy book. And in this holy book, everybody writes according to their own interpretation, according to their own wickedness in heart, according to their own holiness in heart, what they believe and what they define things to be. That's it. You only need a simple way. There's only one simple way to understand God, by the Holy Spirit. Only you and the Holy Spirit. You don't see him. He's not there. So you really need to believe in that. You know the problem? People don't want to believe in what they believe. Oh, it's not there. Maybe I'm just talking to air. So you want a pastor, you want a preacher man, you want a medicine man who you will believe when he tells you, yeah, this is going to happen. Because you don't believe yourself. When you close the door and pray that nobody is there, you don't believe that the Holy Spirit is there with you. If you believe that the Holy Spirit is there, why do you believe that the pastor is better than the Holy Spirit? Do you believe that the medicine man is better than the Holy Spirit? It's because you don't have no faith. You don't believe in it. That is the problem. There is no greater way to know God in this very time, when they have told you, you have read also in those your scriptures from the word of truth. One of the words of truth that in those your books you read is that all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. All. It did not say minus the pastor. It did not say minus the preacher man. It did not say minus that very man you think is so intelligent. You are the one who will sort anything you have to do that gets to do with God. There are two positions in humanity: the spiritual and the carnal. Once it comes spiritual, it's you and your God. When it comes carnal, then you can relate with people. But they tell us everything. Even they give us, generally, Christianity things, division they create, human creations. Christianity also was after Jesus Christ died. Then those who believed that the Jews killed Jesus Christ, they went back. Then they formed Christianity in the name of Jesus Christ, and say the people who follow the footsteps of that. Jesus Christ never told you whether he accept that. Maybe he doesn't need such glorifying his name. Why not use the name of God? Why the Muslims, they use the name of Muslim, Muhammad. The Christians, they use Christ, Christianity. If you believe that we are all for God, why not you call it godliness? So that we stop using the intermediary that was not even given to us by anybody, that we form for ourselves, because that one we form for ourselves is the one that relates fine. The one that God gives to us is so spiritual that we don't understand it. The problem? The fear in human heart. How is it going to be if everything is coming spiritually to us? How can you feel that? And this is the problem my people in Biafra too are having. To understand that they are special people. They know it, but they don't understand what that means. They say it because the revelation must be there for you to know that the light is upon you. But how do you receive that light? We know there is something about our people that is different from every other person. I understand that. But to date, nobody, they lie to themselves. They believe they have proven it, but they have not proven that difference. We have not been able to identify it. What makes us different? Because there's nothing we are lying or we are proud of today that some people have not done somewhere, somehow, someday. So you're not special if you are an imitator. If you are the inventor, then you are special. That's what makes you special. What have the Biafran people, we as an Igbo people, that are so proud of our speciality? What have we done that nobody have done in the life before? That's what we are talking about, because people started things. And that is what we are saying. And that is why I'm so ashamed of our people in the struggle of Biafra, because this could have been, and will still be, it will still be the example of our greatness. The way Biafra is going to come, all this noise making, all this stupidity is going to come down. Biafra is going to come in a way that Oga Waka Wawa, I will this freedom. We have, have you ever seen in a way? We want to be the first to do what have never been done before. That's what we're talking about. And that's what we are all about. And that's when you can tell me. That's why when Igbo people, when they are talking, they say, Emmanuel, you don't believe it. I say, fuck you with what you are saying, because you have not proven anything. You are just, I feel it the same way you feel it. But let's live by the truth to understand that that thing that we are feeling have not been exhibited. And the earlier we recognize that and start searching for that thing, and start digging to know that difference, and start trying to make sure we present that difference to the world, the earlier we start doing that, the better for us, because we are going to be recognized as that thing we are now bragging to be. We are only bragging. I tell you something. When I came here about 25 years ago in Europe, as an Igbo man, as a Nigerian, when we sit in midst of Ghanaians, Togolese, Cameroonians, all these other African nations, when you start to talk as an Igbo man, everybody comes down to listen to you because they believe we have something. But you know something? These days, ask it to anybody, wherever they are living today. An Igbo man, when you want to start to talk, they tell you, my friend, sit down. Say, all along, you people, now mouth to mouth to mouth. But still, we keep posing. It's high time we start being ashamed and thinking about why can't we be able to do something that no other people have ever done. And this is the opportunity for us to do one great thing that the whole world will see, the way we do it, that nobody have ever done it before. And that is what Biafra is going to do. And that's what the Biafran coming is destined to be. Biafran coming is not destined to be compared with Somalia. Wow. Biafran coming is destined to be a sample, a new course of thinking to the whole of the world. And before that can happen, my brother, check what is happening now. Is that possible today, tomorrow, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years? For that clarity to be there, for Biafra to advance in that in this very mood that I've explained, which is the mood Biafra must come, whether you like it or not. You are what they are doing now is dirty. They are, when the time in a clean dirty, there is going to be a lot of uproar, a lot of dust, a lot of things going up and down. That is what you are seeing now. What all these people now are crying. All of them who are shouting, come here, do this, bring Biafra, bring that. It's all about carrying out the cadaver of the old Biafra. That's what they are going through. This time, what you are seeing, believe me, my brother, there are positions, there are people who must do each and every one of the jobs that are involved. The job that is at hand now is to remove the death of the old train of Biafra. That is why you are hearing the noise, Biafra everywhere. They are about to, because some people think that carrying that Biafra, that very train up to go and throw it, is that it's already there. We are moving, but it's not Biafra. It's not Biafra. This is the clearing of the road. We have time. A lot of clearance. A lot of people will go away. A lot of sins will be cleared from the way. And then Biafra will come. Tell it to the birds. Tell them I told you. And that is the way it's going to be. So my people, the information we gave you this evening are just the latest informations about the killing in Ozobo. It hurts us so much that this kind of things we were contemplating. Oh, Ndausa Huntsmen had again from Ndausa Huntsmen ourselves. So we give you the information that police, although it's a fraudulent nation, anything they are telling you supposed not even to be listened to. How much more start to be considered? We are getting information that police now are working on it. They have made some arrests, but not at this time exposed. So that is the latest on that very front. And we played you another disturbing voice information there about a brother who is bragging now because of one business. You hear we do business, you say, what kind of business? It's a dirty business. Now, some people who are onto that very line will also support him and say, yes, you don't eat people's money. What money? Who is this? Where is this money coming from that you don't? That's by the way anyway. But what we are saying is, no matter whatever happens, there is guy, a guy. When they chop you, guy, even when you're gonna real guy, irikwara mmadụ ego ahụ before onye ahụ ga-eso rie. It's your own carelessness. Forget it. Nke igbu mmadụ, no matter what, it's not justified. If you go and cheat somebody, onye ga-eso chọta mmụọ asịze na isi nkwa echi mmụọ gị isiri na mmụọ galawa another day ga mụrụ akọ gị esikwa na onye ọzọ na-echi ya mmụọ ma isi mmụọ adịghị okay. You stop that kind of business that will making you and echi mmụọ within one another. We all tried things, our hands in things that will get us that cash quick. But we were clever to understand that no way wago. There are so many other things. Your legacy in life, what you represent for your kids, for generations to come, is most important. But thanks to God that we've been able to understand that with time and give up beforehand. In so many things that were not as dirty as what we are hearing now. There was nothing like Ebu Koloni and Ebu. I'm not involved, and I thank God for that. But ndị nke na-abanyela n'ụdị nke a biko my brothers. Ọwụdị ma ihe, ọwụkwa na ịdị smart na egburu onye ọzọ. The smartest person, the wisest person is that n'ile uzuru nke a gị nwekwa ike ịchụta ọzọ. That is how you can judge yourself as being smart. You don't care about that. You don't really need to condemn yourself because of that. No matter if you think that is difficult, that means you are not equal to the task. This world generally is a difficult place. So if you begin to pick up the problems one by one and start calling them difficult, you start killing yourself completely, promptly. Just turn everything difficult and keep yourself ready to be equal to those tasks. And remember the judgment. If you believe God, that you don't need to stain yourself because of these difficulties, because they are there to be the temptations. What you need to do is to walk through them, walk past them, win them over. And you become the great one. That is what is called wisdom. It doesn't come. I've been telling people, wisdom is not education. It has nothing to do with smartness. It has nothing to do with brilliancy. It has nothing to do with intelligence. Wisdom have everything to do with spirituality. That's to divide. I also tell you, in every human being, in every aspect of what is obtainable is carnal and spiritual. Education, smartness, brilliancy, intelligence, all these things has to do with carnality, your carnal being, what you can do, what you can obtain, by how much you push. Spirituality only have to do with your relationship with God, and that's where wisdom comes. That's the only place wisdom comes. But today, Oyibo man, they fool us, finish, fool us with the language that we are hearing. They turn it around though. They tell us that education is wisdom. Our people are because all I was a professor because all wisdom. I was a doctor wisdom. They told us education is wisdom. And in so many ways, we come to relate with that because when we see those people, they go to school, they make money, they are rich. So they are wise. They must be wise to get to that. They are only smart. They are intelligent. They are brilliant. It has nothing to do with wisdom. Wisdom has a different job to do in circle of life. All these other times, smartness, brilliance, intelligence gives you this good life. But it doesn't have anything to do with the spiritual aspect of life that gives you wisdom that control your entire relationship with nature and you are God. Wisdom is the brain boss of peace. If you have wisdom, you'll not be thinking about killing people. If you have wisdom, you don't believe in fighting somebody. But you believe you can win them over. You believe you can always put them down if you want, if that's the calculation. Because you have to pray. Because that sense of your application will be given by Almighty. You obtain it from God. It will come to you. Your operation method will be given to you. And it will become part of you that you don't need to go far to look for it. Whenever you need to use it. So my people, I am calling on our people to please know that at this stage there is a lot of categories of the struggle. We are in the cleanup stages. The train anyị na shine machara mma anyị ji ala Biafra bụ a painted sepulchre. Ili etere ezu onwede ebe o je ọ rọstụrụ arọstụ ọ gbajisiele, you cannot move it, you cannot repair it. Those people shouting, crying, this and that in Nigeria are only removing those debts. That is why you hear all this cry of Biafra, reconstruction or rehabilitation or whatever they call it out there in Nigeria. It's just because they are cleaning the dust. And you see what is happening when there is a cleanup like this. So many people wound themselves in a mighty cleanup like this. That is why you see the numerous deaths of people. And unfortunately, our people. We have to be strong. We really need to be strong. We really need to understand that we have time for Biafra. We don't need to be in a hurry. We don't need to stop also or stop anybody from what they are doing. Just relax. Whatever you are doing at this point is your call. What they are doing there is their call to do their own job. But believe me, just have hope, have faith that Biafra will come. Biafra will come as one of the cleanest, one of the most civilized country. You know what civilization means? Oh, let me come again. Maybe the first civilized country in the world. Because they use that term, civilization. Or you both confuse us. But let us talk about civilization. Biafra will become the is going to become a peaceful nation, which is what Biafra is going to be, which makes you a civilized nation. What we have all around are developed nations, people who are developed. They build buildings, they make the town wonderful and sweet, beautiful, but they are not civilized. If you are a civilized nation, you don't go around killing people, fighting people. Civilization don't kill people. Barbaricness, old time, ancient time is when they kill people. Development is different from civilization. Europe, America, they are all developed, but they call themselves civilized, but they are not civilized. A civilized man don't go around fighting people on the street, but a developed man can do that. A developed man can be somebody who have all kinds of equipment in the house. He have all kinds of house. He have all kinds of shop. He's developed himself. But you see them too, because I got civilized. Yes, all the developed, but are they civilized? We say it for people. So why likewise goes to these countries? They are developed. They have everything. They are grown up. Look at their skyscrapers. Look at their road, their bridges. Look at their setup. Very wonderful. But they are not civilized because they still go around bullying people around and fighting. Which is that same thing you will tell somebody who has the whole money and go around on the street and fight. You call him not a non-civilized man, an uncivilized man, or whatever you call them. My boy, how you doing? Cool. So that is it. And I think my boy wants me right now. So I have to go in. I've tried my best, but my people, a lot of things that we don't need education to tell us, even the meaning of some of their education, the meaning of their so much grammar. Sometimes they don't even know the meaning of what they said. Sometimes they misplace it because they want to cheat you. They start cheating themselves. So meaning of so many kind of English we know today is not the meaning of what their forefather knew is to be. But today, because they want to cheat people, they start to cheat themselves. Boy.
Yeah, it is still that.
Yeah, you want to take it? You can have one. The small one.
This one.
No.
Physical.
Okay, you can have it.
You take it.
Thank you. All right. So my people, I will have to call it a day. We'll have numerous better, wonderful things tomorrow as day goes on. Every time we're going to be here. Every day now, I'll come out at every hour I get. So always make sure you are there to tune in. Maybe you catch me. Maybe you watch the previous program. What do you call this? Is this even a broadcast? What are we really doing? This is a video recording that we're doing. You know why I'm doing this things? It's not even for public consumption, so to say, but people who can consume it can do that. It's for my own purpose. It's for me to know the things I said. When the time will come, I will know my records of what I did, my position as at this time. And others who also would like to keep those records, I think it's important. So my people, have a good day, good night, and God be with you all. We'll meet again tomorrow.